Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Obviously by the title we're going to be going over Western Conference teams and where I feel they're going to stand this next season. If you haven't already, go check out my previous video. I did Eastern Conference teams and where I feel they fit going into the next season. So let's go ahead and jump right into things. First things first, we got to figure out number one team in the Western Conference. What team do I feel is the number one team? Really, I don't think it's much of a question. I think the Nuggets are the number one team. Jokic and Murray, I think they're a dynamic duo. They show that they've got depth and can play shooting, if not being big, against other teams. They've got lots of diversity in and how they play. Moving on to the second place team, the Western Conference really is a pretty loaded conference. So you can put a lot of teams in a lot of different orders. For me, my personal opinion, my second best team, this is purely just regular season, is the Suns. I think the Suns have a pretty heavy front end roster. Really, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs, mainly because, again, they're front heavy and they don't have much depth, but I think they can win a lot of games with the amount of star power that they have. Going in with their third team, I'm going to be a little biased here. I think the Clippers are going to be the third best team, depending on injuries as well. So a lot of these teams, like the Suns, is going to depend on injuries. I think if the Clippers can stay healthy, I think they can be a very, very dangerous team. They've got a lot of depth, a lot of key players that aren't necessarily superstars, but they can get you plays. Obviously, they have Kawhi, Paul George, again, another dynamic duo with Russell Westbrook, who played absolutely amazing in the playoffs last year. I think that if they just get all these pieces together, stay healthy, they can be a real threat in this conference. Going in with my fourth team, rounding this off, really it came down to either the Warriors or the Mavericks. They both have really good starters and solid depth. It's hit or miss with those two teams. I'm going to lean more towards the Mavericks. I think Luka is just a really dominant player when he wants to be. And then adding in Kyrie Irving, I think that just puts them over the top. Obviously, since I put the Mavericks there at fourth, I'm going to go ahead and put the Warriors right there at fifth. I think the Warriors, again, their depth is a little interesting. But again, they've got Steph, they've got Clay. Their two main shooters. If they stay healthy, they're always going to be a threat. Going into the sixth team, I think it comes down to depth and key players. I think the Kings last year shocked a lot of people, and I think they're going to be, again, in that middle tier. They have a lot of young, very talented players. They just got to grow and build off of their last success. They're going to come down a little bit from last year, but I think they're going to, once again, be in that contention of the middle teams. For the play-in, I think the best team in the play-in really is going to be the Lakers. I'm not a huge fan of the Lakers. I don't think that they're going to be a super dominant team. I think they're getting up there in age. LeBron cannot carry this team anymore. And they're going to have to depend on these other younger talent that really hasn't really had much time to grow and start. So AD is going to have to pick up the pace a little bit and help carry this team, but I don't know. There's a lot of question marks for the Lakers here. So the second team really is the Grizzlies. Obviously, Ja is going to be suspended for 25 games this year, so that's going to put him down already. But I think once he comes back and gets into the flow of things, they're going to be a contender team. Moving on, I think really, I know depending on where Damian Lillard goes, I still think that the Trailblazers are a play-in team. If Damian Lillard leaves the Trailblazers, then things might change here, but I think the Blazers still have a solid enough team to make the playoffs. Last but not least, another play-in team, I think really OKC. They are going to be a very tough knit team to beat. I think they're going to be in the contention of these other teams, so I would look out for them. I think they're building a really strong base. They could be in the play-in as well. Going into 11th through 15th, a lot of these teams, again, they're very similar with their depth and how young they are. I think the best team out of all of them, I think the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans could possibly be in the play-in, but could not. It's just all going to be dependent on health and these other teams on trades like the Trailblazers, or if OKC can stay consistent like they were last year. If not, they might drop back and the Pelicans would move forward. Really, it just all depends. I think the Timberwolves are a little bit further behind than the Pelicans, but I think they could also possibly be in the play-in. Again, like I said, with the talent that these teams have towards the bottom here, it could really be dependent on injuries and who's playing. These bottom three teams, the Jazz, Rockets, and Spurs, I don't think they have really a shot to be in the play-in. They could surprise people, but I mean, you could really put these in any order. I think the Jazz are going to be probably behind the Wolves, and then going off of the Rockets and Spurs, to me, it's just going to be a flip of the coin. Obviously, the Spurs got their new, young, talented player from the draft. It's going to be dependent on how well he plays in the league. Obviously, he's got a lot to prove. So I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the Rockets because I think they have a little bit more a supporting cast. And then the Spurs. Once again, these two teams you could switch back and forth on. Alright guys, this is my standings for the Western Conference and where I feel these teams stand. If you haven't already, go check out my previous video of Eastern Conference and let me know in the comments below what you think and if your team made it to where you think they're going to go this season. Other than that guys, till next time.